He who loves pleasure will suffer want. What do you want? Nothing wrong with wanting something, but do you want it so bad that it takes away your peace and contentment? What kind of pleasures have you been enjoying? Maybe you eat too much food, and thus you've gained some weight, and you want to lose it. And it bothers you every time you look in the mirror. Hey, I've been there. I know how that is. Maybe you've drank too much alcohol, and your life is falling apart, and you want your life to be better. You want your relationships to be better. Maybe you enjoy working so much that you've neglected your family, and you want the love of your wife and children back. You feel like you don't even know them anymore. The Stoics used to say everything in moderation. There's nothing wrong with pleasure, but as I stated when I began, he who loves pleasure, who lusts for pleasure. Maybe you spent too much time having sex with women and you're addicted to it. You loved that pleasure and you've sacrificed everything and risked everything to continue to satisfy that pleasure. But what you found out is you can't satisfy it. No matter how much sex you have, or porn you watch, or whatever way you find to, try to extinguish that strong desire, it grows stronger. And you look for other ways to satisfy it. And you can never satisfy it, because you've loved that pleasure, you've lusted for that. It's become an addiction, like drinking can be, like drugs can be, like food can be, like work can be, chasing money. Anything can become an addiction. It can become pleasurable for you. For example, if you make a great deal and you earn a lot of money off that deal, you get a certain sense of satisfaction or pleasure, which there's nothing wrong with that. But if you start to seek that because you like the way that made you feel, then you're seeking the wrong things. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. Now, I got to put my disclaimer here. I'm not a religious guy or a Bible thumper, although I believe in the teachings of Jesus and many of the things in the Bible. There's a lot of wisdom in there. Okay, but you have to take that and make a practical application out of it for today. And that's what I try to do. The pleasure is a natural human, it's something naturally that we desire and that we deserve. But it's when it gets out of bounds, so to speak, or when it gets to be your main focal point. You have to seek first the kingdom of God. And where is the kingdom of God? Is it somewhere way out there? Or is it over there? No, it is among us. It is in us. The kingdom of God lies within you. You are the king of that kingdom. Whatever you allow in there, thoughts, feelings, emotions, will manifest itself in your outer world, in your world experience. Sometimes I think it's all a hologram. And some scientists believe that's what we live in. Whether it is or not really doesn't matter. What matters to me and to you, I'm sure, is you want to have a good experience in life. And that really lies in your perceptions of your outer world. But that perception of your outer world has been first created within you and manifested itself before your eyes. Some people believe, and I tend to believe this to some degree, that everything is a symbol of what's going on within you. So you can recognize what you need to change within your kingdom. Now, I used to believe, as it goes on to say, and his righteousness. I think righteousness, I would look at that in a religious way. I'm a righteous, pious, upstanding man. But what I've come to believe that means, at least to me, and you can choose to believe this however you want, is right thinking. Right thinking about you, about me, about everything, even politics and wars. And what is right thinking about these issues, people, places, and things? Is the good that is within all of it. To seek the good, to think only the good. Now, do I do that very well? I fall short, I'll tell you. I can get off on a negative tangent. And fortunately, I hang around with people, mostly my sons, who will call me out on it because I can't seem to recognize it myself sometimes. So these things are the righteousness, the way you think about other people. We must always try to look for the good in everybody. I know it's hard to find sometimes, but it hurts us. It hinders us when we don't seek the good. We need to look for the good, look for that silver lining in that dark cloud. But what does the world do? Just look at the news. Does it look for the good? No, actually it looks for the bad, the negative, because negativity sells. Social media, mainline media news, people. How many times do you go up and talk to people and they'll tell you about their latest injury, their latest tragedy? And I understand it. You can stand in a line, let's say waiting to get on a flight. And if a guy sits there and starts talking about how wonderful things are in politics or how wonderful his life is, people will kind of look at him like he's nuts. But if you start complaining about how long you have to wait, how flights get delayed, people will start to join in. Negativity is natural. Positivity and looking for the good in everything is unnatural. You could even say it's spiritual, it's metaphysical, it's above, it's on a higher plane. But when you think about these things, you start to remain and live in this higher plane. And this is how you rise above your problems in life. Watch these guys who are extremely successful, some in politics, some in business. When they have a problem, they don't focus on the problem. They actually ignore the problem after they've taken action to do what needs to be done, and they focus on what they want in life. They rise above the problem in their perception of life and the problem. And you can do that too. Address the problem, figure out what the problem is, think of the solution if there is one. If not, you just go on to the next thing and keep your focus on your vision and off of the problem. That's how these people get through these things that seem like they would knock most of us down, and they would knock most of us down. That's how these guys who are extremely successful rise above, how they get through these seemingly impossible situations and achieve things that most of us only dream about. But you can do that too, because the same power that is within those people who you admire is within you also. But you have to believe it's there and you have to use it. Only you have control over what's going on in your kingdom, the kingdom of your mind. And when you control that, your outer world takes care of itself. You have no direct control over what goes on out there. Thinking you can control that is like thinking you can fix your hair by touching the mirror. But you do have control of what goes on within your mind. And out there is a reflection of that. So think about that today. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you, and I'm glad you're here. Take care.